Live at lunch.
You are looking live.
Live at lunch. Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
What the hell's going on out here?
Now, here's Jimmy Ott and Charles Hannegriff.
Yeah, for some reason or another, you sound a little taller on radio.
Is it live? Is it live? Is it live? Is it live?
From the original Walk-Ons, Burbank at Nicholson. Welcome to the Thursday edition of Live at Lunch, 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge. Charles Hannegriff, Jimmy Ott, and Jordan Kinch's back in the studio. Glad that you're with us today. Colucci from Vegas here in a little bit. The World Cup gets going again this afternoon at 3 o'clock. France and Morocco. Did you miss it yesterday?
A little bit, yeah.
It's almost like it's been on every afternoon at my house for, or wherever I am for a month, basically. Yeah, it's like, wait a minute, who's playing today?
It's a good Wimbledon on, though.
So. Heartbreak for Coco Gauff, huh?
Yeah, it's, she's in the semifinals. The top three seeds lost. She had a real opportunity to, put number 3 of a career Grand Slam. She's got the French. She's got the U.S. Open. This would have been a big one. The grass in Wimbledon was where she broke through and made a deep run, but considered to be not her favorite surface. She was a slight underdog to Mahova. She has a little bit of a history of being a slow starter, which she did today. I think it was 6-1 maybe the first set. Mm-hmm. But she has by far the best record in women's tennis, ladies tennis in Wimbledon, as dropping the first set and winning. Pegula, who was the highest seed left after the top 3. She's the 4 seed. She lost the first set pretty handily to Pegula. Came back and won the next 2 to advance. Her French Open championship, she lost, got blown off the court in the first set against Sabalenka. Came back and won, the French title. And so she was on her way again. She won the second set, and then the third set was just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Got into a tiebreaker. She fell behind, I think, as much as 5-2. Maybe even 6-2. She battles back. It's 6-6, 7-7, 8-all. She gets a point. Mahova gets Mahova's serving, gets a delay of game warning, throws her off a little bit. She barely rolls in her second serve, and she blows a point. So she's serving for the match, 9-8. Beautiful first serve down the tee. All Mahova can do is block it back. She's got to put it away. She decides to drop shot and puts it in the net. And that finesse, and that was it. Mahova came back and won. It was really fun to see an American athlete on an international stage, a big stage, compete. Is that nice? Is that something?
Yeah. No.
Is it a novel idea? An American athlete on an international stage getting after it.
Well, given the fact that the women's soccer team has so consistently outperformed the men, and the women's tennis players have consistently outperformed the men, at least in the last 25 years. Yes, it's very nice. And you know what struck me? I watched a little bit of the first set this morning. She's getting blown out, and I'm like, okay. I didn't know that stat until you gave it about her first set difficulties. What struck me was I've been watching her play for a long time. It feels like a long time. She made the 4th round at Wimbledon at 15. At 15 years old. And so she has been playing Wimbledon a long time, since pre-COVID. She's only 22 years old. More of her career is in front of her, I think.
A little bit stronger physically, a little bit more endurance. I mean, she's kind of getting into her prime. The other fun thing about it, too, Martina would have been proud. I mean, it wasn't so much serve and volley, but a lot of net play. She really pressed at the net. Her volleys were really clean today. She went so many winners at the net, and she was that was her approach. I'm not sure if it was just, if she wasn't doing it enough. It was way more than she usually does, but Mahova was having a hard time dealing with it. Just that simple, and just the aggression the pressure, just the competing. You know, I'm sorry. The more of this American soccer American performance and lack, it just weak, timid, scared on your home soil and the biggest stage ever when more people are watching the sport ever. I mean, the more it marinates, Charlie, more it pisses me off. I'm sorry. And more I'm sorry where the soccer enthusiasts out there want to tell us we're coming, we're getting better. Man, I don't know if you gave back more than you ever had before. I said it's just a matter of us debating how much, what percentage you gave back of that early round or the group round success in impressive performances. I don't know how. I don't know if you did more damage because you brought everybody there. Yeah. And you could promote it, but no matter what we do, we could promote this business. But this business, walk-ons has got to ultimately they got to perform, and they just how many people are going to know? Man, didn't been there. I'm not getting excited about that. I'm not. I'm sorry. Show me now.
Well, I did enjoy the other matches more, maybe because they were in the United States, and we'll see in 4 years when this
World Cup has been by far the most enjoyable. I don't know overall, not just from an American perspective.
More late goals, more scoring, all of that stuff.
Yes.
And when this is over, I'll defer to the soccer experts as to how much better this was because of the new format, because there were 48 teams.
You lucked out. Cape Verde, the Cape Verde of the pool is not going to be that way every time, but they were this time.
Yeah.
Okay, so but they gave us a taste that they can be.
Maybe there's another small country that makes a run the next time. It doesn't have to be Cape Verde again. It could be another small country that makes a run. Or like I said yesterday, maybe there is some soccer phenom, the next Ronaldo or the next Messi that's coming up somewhere that will capture our attention. Probably won't be an American, but maybe so. But from the United States standpoint, how much of this, if they had played the other format, the regular 32-team format, I understand they still play in the United States and you still have that, but if you had played this in the 32-team format, I think it would feel exactly the same as it's felt the last 4 times. The reason that it felt better was you got a little bit easier draw with a few more teams that you were going to be superior to. Troy Macker calls them the minnows, okay? The minnows that they let in here.
No.
Beating Australia.
They made Paraguay and Australia.
And Paraguay looked much better after they lost to the United States. It wasn't that the U.S. lost Monday night. It's Belgium. They embarrassed them. Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
We kind of embarrassed Paraguay and Australia. I mean,
the first match for sure. And 2-0 against Australia.
I mean, you win by multiple goals. Yeah. I mean, you're aggressing, and it's almost like, oh man, people are looking, man. This might be a dangerous team we might want to stay away from. If Spain is peaking the form, like I don't know, man, this American team might be dangerous, and then you don't compete, and that's just inexcusable. I'm sorry. It's inexcusable.
No,
if your star player is just feeble, he's fragile. Well, that's a knock on your level of your sport in this country. Okay, that's your star. That's that guy, and he's Anthony Davis. On a good day, no, we're not where we used to be. But man, just fight, dude. Just scratch. Just show some grit. The whole damn country, the atmosphere, man, it's inexcusable. I no pass, no nothing, and I'm almost it's just when don't give me this 4 years from now, 8 years from now, 12 years from now. It's not happening. It's not happening. And look, I didn't think they're going to win. Me and Max were on the same page. Get to Spain. They're favored to win that game against Belgium. Get to Spain and be competitive. And have a good showing. Yeah. You didn't have a good showing. But, Charlie, the format, if you want to break down, they can't ask for a more favorable format.
That's what I'm saying. If this is in the
old
format,
they automatically qualify. They get in there, and it was a group that was winnable. They proved that. And then you get the weakest 3 in the first round, in the round of 32? Bosnia? I mean, no, you can't. Belgium? I mean, you didn't play Spain, Argentina.
No, you didn't play
England. Brazil. I mean, France. I mean, you dodged all them.
You did.
You can get all the way to the quarters.
I still think, and I don't have the stats to prove it because I'm not a soccer guy. Okay, I still think Belgium was kind of playing possum, just given the way that match went out. We've seen it before. Veteran teams that will coast until they absolutely have to turn it on, and then they do. That's what it felt like to me. And I can't tell you shots on goal or possession or any of that stuff.
No, Charles,
but that's the way it felt.
Belgium does not. We'll go down 2-0 to Senegal, and then we'll turn it on. No, that's not planned.
Not maybe that. No, not that match.
Okay, well that happened.
It did,
and they were very fortunate to survive that.
Were they locked into the knockout round before that match with Senegal? Had they already clinched a spot? Or was it probable?
Well, they had their 3 group plays, and then that was their first knockout round. That was the group. That was round of 32. That was their first.
Oh, okay, that was in the knockout round.
Yes, they're down 2-0 late.
Yeah. Okay, no, not in the knockout round. Not in the knockout round.
No. You digging. You're digging for excuses, and there are no excuses.
Okay, they lost. They suck.
No. But compete, dude.
I watched the match along with you. I was disappointed, extremely disappointed.
But Coco, she competed.
She
gave it all. I wasn't crazy about the decision to go for the drop shot, in that spot. But she had been drop shot in all match, you know. So it's a little can be an overused sort of change of speed pitch, but. She just missed it, but she tried her ass off, dude. That's what I'm talking about.
We were talking about with Dustin here at Walk-Ons.
What?
Football season? Football season. That was kind of a little joke. We're putting together some scheduling.
O's. Football, not food.
We're putting some scheduling stuff together for the season. Of course, we're going to be here as we always are. But as soon as he said, for opening week, and then boy, my ears just picked up because we're looking forward to it. Obviously, we're inside of 60 days.
I talked to the Clemson folks. They're less than enthusiastic than, say, 4 years ago when this was first scheduled. Oh, yes, Death Valley, coming to Tiger Stadium, Death Valley, whatever you want to say. And their program is not quite the source of optimism it once was when they scheduled this game.
Dabo does not have the political capital that he had certainly prior to last season, but I think you can even go back probably a couple. They were going to give him the benefit of the doubt on this transfer portal strategy until they were certain it didn't work because he's got that much gravitas over there. Now that they've seen it has hastened the decline of where they were 3 years ago to where they are now. They are like, adapt or we're going to find somebody that does. And with a 2-time national championship coach, that's a lift, man, to turn the base on him.
It's not close. He's the greatest coach they've ever had.
Yeah.
It's a proud program. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is, Danny Ford. We know he won it 79 maybe. What was it? Or 80? 80. Okay.
No, 81.
Homer Jordan, Perry Tuttle, I mean, they were.
80 was Herschel.
And then
81 was Clemson. Yeah.
Yeah, and then they then bring in the Fridge and some other guys, and then they kind of just
Clemson.
It was Clemsoning, and they were kind of then that Peach Bowl kind of wasn't that a lower level bowl when we won like 10-7. Wasn't that a low? It's
not what it is now.
No, but I mean, just with those 10-7.
When Dabo made such a big deal out of that, it was like, dude, it's a big
deal out of I'm talking about the DiNardo.
Oh, 10-7. Oh, that one. I thought you were going back to the
10-7.
Yeah,
Charlie.
It was a middle of the road bowl.
Yeah, it was a middle of the road bowl. LSU was. We didn't know what was about to happen for LSU in the golden era of LSU football, but it was just kind of a Kentucky type of bowl game, maybe a Baylor for the most part. Just kind of the secondary. It lacked athletes. It just did. It lacked juice. It lacked future pros, and so they had that, and then finally, they're getting close. And they just can't get over that. They blow the lead to Boston College. They blow the lead here. They blow this game. But they just close. And Dabo gets them over the hump. They made some administrative adjustments. They restructured their IPTE.
They spent some more money.
Got got a handle on their compliance. Okay, they restructured IPTE to where they started taking out loans. Radakovich was, we need to pay some money, so they brought in facilities and everything, and they figured it out. And man, they're beating Alabama when Alabama is at their height under Saban, and beating them, either playing them down to the wire or beating them and then beating them bad. In that three-year stretch in the playoff, and then they changed the rules, and he doesn't adapt, and it's simple as that. And now they've given him a chance. So okay, you program players. And last year, and I don't know how that team was so highly thought of going into the year, and I don't know how that roster had so many guys drafted in the NFL, but they just weren't. It didn't match their level of play on the field last year. And so, with all that being said, now you're hearing things, little trickles, lack of commitment. The AD is saying publicly, no, Dabo had all the money he needed to go out and get a transfer portal quarterback. He chose to stay with the guy who's a fourth-year junior. So kind of, wait a minute, your AD is basically publicly questioning your roster moves?
Beginning of the end.
Yeah, this is things have turned. Things have turned.
What was the spread last year when LSU went there? Clemson was a 3-point favorite, 2.5, 3?
4, maybe 5. Okay. I'll look it up.
Okay, but I'm asking for a reason. If I'd have asked you leading into that game, hey, when they come back to Tiger Stadium next year, what's the spread going to be? If I'd asked you that game week,
would just flipped.
Yes, that's what I'd have said too.
Yeah.
Instead, LSU's a 12-point favorite right now. 12-point favorite right now.
Yeah.
And if I'd have thrown in the caveat, oh, by the way, Dabo's going to be back next year, but LSU's going to fire their coach. Sight unseen, you don't know who they're going to hire. It goes even more in the
I didn't know in the middle of the season he's going down to his beach house in Naples. 4.5, Charlie.
Okay, 4.5. 16.5-point swing in before game spreads.
Yes, I didn't have that.
In 12 months. We're here at Walk-On.
Well, look, the Americans out, but the World Cup march is on, and we are set for the quarterfinal round. As soon as you come into the original walk-ons, you can see all the flags of the participating countries. We have them, but, of course, this is a great place to watch the games. Hey, Major League Baseball today, you got about 7 games in the afternoon. Getaway day. We're watching some Genesis Scottish Open. McIlroy, Kim, Weisberger, and Cantlay all in the clubhouse with the 5-under lead. Patrick Green is one back after 11, so he's having a nice start as well. But a place to watch all the games. And yes, just around the corner, we will be getting ready for football season. But it's a place where, if you're moving in, if you're coming, you got some incoming freshmen. That you got to move in on move-in day, just around the corner. I mean, getting the air conditioning, get great service, consistent food, great libations, and sit here and watch a ball game to take a break off just off of campus. So the original, and boy, we have grown and grown and grown with the Walk-Ons family, including Clemson, South Carolina, who, by the way, part owner is Dabo Swinney.
And it's exactly the same from that walk-ons to that football stadium as it is over here.
Yes, indeed.
9/10 of them out. Live at the original walk-ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original walk-ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Remember, you can always get the show on demand, 1045ESPN.com, LouisianaSports.net. It's brought to you by Supreme Rice, celebrating 90 years in business in 2026. Support our Louisiana farmers. Go to SupremeRice.com. Our consensus picks, you throw out one hole, which you can't do, of course,
okay.
Especially at this
Ben
tournament.
Coles.
Yeah, exactly. But what a tough start for both of them, and then they played good golf pretty much the rest of the way. Terrell Hatton, who's one of our consensus picks, comes out in triple bogeys, number one. He's starting in the back nine, but triple bogeys, number one. He played the rest of the round in 3 under. Now, Wyndham Clark took a little bit more time than that. He comes out, and after a couple of pars, double bogeys, and then triple bogeys, double bogeys and then bogeys, 3 and 4. So he's 3 over par. He plays the rest of the day in 6 under. So you've seen enough links golf in your life. One hole can turn into the ultimate disaster. You can literally lose these golf tournaments on one hole. I guess you could say that any week, but especially with links golf. I know Max isn't here right now, but that's the way it feels like to me.
I think it's more exaggerated than in the typical golf course.
I do. Okay. As far as the disaster holes, I do.
There's certain courses that, like, or maybe holes and.
Maybe I just got John Van de Velde in my head, but
I got you.
Yeah, between pothole bunkers or rough that's taller than teenagers at times, or just if the wind's going crazy.
Well, Wyndham Clark's fine, 3 under day.
Yeah, and like I said, he had to play after he opens up. He's 3 over after 4 holes.
Yeah,
and so he's got to.
He played the back 9 first?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, both of them did. Him and Hatton both did.
He doubles double bogey 12 and bogey 30, and then 3 straight birdies, Charlie.
Yeah, he's 6 under for the rest of the round. It's just that Hatton's 3 under for the rest of the round.
Well,
it's just that you got
scoring. I mean, he had 7 birdies today.
Yeah. You can play great golf for 16 holes, 17 holes.
I think that's encouraging with Clark. Dig himself a hole and still have such a he's 2 off the lead.
Yeah, he's right there.
You talk about digging yourself a hole. Yeah, so consider what's and he is currently, let me see. Now Patrick Reed's pre-tournament odds were what?
80 to 1, I think.
God, he was up there. Was it that much?
I think so.
He's now down to 18 to 1.
Maybe it was 55 to 1. I had a couple of them.
Wyndham Clark is kind of around a 10-12 range as far as the odds board now at 25 to 1.
Right. Well, check Brooks Koepka for me because he had a round today, and Max, he was on Max's card yesterday.
29 to 1 currently.
He was plus 9. 90
to 1? No way.
7. This is a 9 or a 7 on my a lot, right? I think it might have been 70 to 1.
We got to bring you to Dr. Blake.
We really do.
Yes. Let me see.
He shoots 4 under. This is
70 to 1. Oh no, that's Jake Knapp.
I think it was 70 to 1.
Koepka.
I think Koepka was around 70 to 1.
I didn't write that down.
Okay. It was on Max's score. So this is the best round that I've seen him shoot since he came back. He
has been pretty flat.
They've made him jump through some hoops. He was all over the place today. He's got 7 birdies and 3 bogeys. So playing entertaining. He's 1 shot off the lead. He shot 66 today.
How much do you think it was kind of getting a little bit of the cold shoulder coming back? I mean, it can't be. I mean, it's not exactly like some people just went out of their way and just made kind of being flat out obnoxiously rude about it, but he didn't get a warm and fuzzy reception.
I don't think it helped.
You know that?
I don't think it helped. I just think the time away from that.
The competitive aspect. Yeah, the guaranteed money. Yes, absolutely.
Because what do we know about Koepka? Before he left for LIV, he showed up for the majors, man. He played his best golf at the majors, and if he was playing a non-elevated event, he was kind of like, whatever. He mailed some of those in. And when he got back, he just didn't have that edge that he had to him. As far as his personality, he was not quite to the level of Bryson DeChambeau when he first got on tour, but he was kind of like a little bit aloof.
No, that was his sparring partner.
Yeah,
I mean, they were, yes.
It wasn't like he was Phil Mickelson or one of these guys that everybody loved, and he went to LIV, and everybody just all of a sudden hated him. Everybody really liked Phil. Phil was, he was
with a D, past tense.
Liked, right?
Yes.
He went to LIV, and it was like, no, forget about you. You're dead to me now. Koepka was dead to a lot of people before that. They were just like, I respect your golf game.
It's impossible.
I don't really like you.
It's impossible to prove the.
But I don't think it helped if that's what you're asking.
Gotcha.
Rory McIlroy, now your favorite. He shot
4 to 1,
5 under, and Scotty Scheffler was doing okay. A nice scuffling a little bit here as we
2 under.
2 under. Okay.
Yeah.
And
he's got about 5 holes left to play.
He's plus 750, I think, right now.
Plus 560.
Went down to 560. Okay.
Yeah.
He is.
Well, I mean, we're citing the Queen. Of course, it is all different outlets, and you'll have some variants. But that's what they have, the Queen of Bally's right now.
He has 6 holes left to play in his round in a tie for 26th right now. So that's kind of what's going on at the Scottish Open. Oh, also, it should mention Kurt Kitayama was on Wes's card yesterday. He shot 4 under, 66. So another one that's right there. So if you played along with us, you got some skin in the game. You're okay here midway through.
There you go. Okay.
Day number 1. Here at Walk-Ons, the original, getting ready for football season, but also the World Cup. Really nice decorations here with all of the flags. The original Walk-Ons.
Just because Americans, went out weak like that on Monday night, the World Cup continues with the countries that want to compete, that want to have a little grit on the pitch. And that better play. We got one of our specialty drinks over here served in the World Cup souvenir cup. So. Yeah, check out all the action over here at Walk-Ons. We also want to thank our friends from Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. Vinyl windows, storm impact windows, wood windows. Yes, indeed. That's the windows that I got from Relief Windows. And it's been 6, 7, 8 years, and they look brand new. They function like they're brand new. They last. I mean, we've had some rough weather conditions, extreme weather conditions here in South Louisiana over this time frame, and they look brand new. They install them perfectly. They clean them up after they're done. It's really a first-class operation, but it's a great product. And after time, you realize, you're dealing with some remodeling and stuff like that, or some construction. It's got to last the test of time. It has at Relief Windows. Check out all their stuff, the windows, doors, siding, shutters, and shades at ReliefWindows.com.
Live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
And we're also brought to you by Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, helping you deal with pain. Dr. Michael Goff and his staff over the years have done great things for our family. When you got back pain, you've got neck pain, you got muscle soreness, you got things that are keeping you from getting around as well as you'd like, or maybe costing you a good night's sleep, let the professionals there target those problem areas for you and get you to feeling better. They've done that for us. Sometimes a little program with the exercises and the stretches will loosen things up. Sometimes you got to go to an adjustment or a dry needle, electric nerve stimulation, or cryotherapy. Whatever it is, they're going to help you out at Louisiana Health and Injury Centers, Airline Highway, Plank Road, Jefferson Highway near Drusilla. Did I hear the horn?
I don't think so. Oh, there it is.
That's what I thought.
It's time. It's now Colucci time. Dwayne Colucci is back to give his best picks on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Oh, well, hello, sir. How are you?
Hello. What's going on?
Hello.
The missing person.
Well, this is the last show, last Thursday for a few weeks now. I've got to arrive in Del Mar early to mentally prepare for opening day in 8 days. So, looking forward to it. You and your dad.
Wait.
You and your dad going down in August?
Yes, definitely. We'll be there first, like the 5th, in that range. So, yeah.
Looking forward to it, where the high is in the 70s every day. So yes, indeed, where the surf meets the turf. How's Saratoga going for you so far?
Not too bad. I mean, it's hit and miss. You know how Toga is, but
right.
Yeah, we're trying. We're plugging away. Definitely one of the harder tracks, to handicap. So we'll do our best. We try.
What makes it more difficult to handicap, Dwayne?
Well, I just think it's the best horses in the world, come to that meet, and they focus on that meet. So definitely, that has a lot to do with it.
It is a great meet, huh? I mean, it is.
Yes.
It is. It is awesome.
Yes.
And the cool thing about it is, the small you're there. Again, elite racing with a party at Saratoga, Del Mar elite party with some horse racing. So, but the the thing is, when you go to a restaurant, well, there's a trainer at the table, the jockeys this side, the media is on this one, the owners are here, and everybody. And the thing is, when we get, so I go to the Monarch in downtown Del Mar, kind of the main area across from LeBare's Hotel, and I'll ask them, put on Saratoga as we're getting ready, having a lunch and a drink before we go to the track. Okay, we'll put it on. They're nice about it. Y'all going to track today? Yes. But if you go to the restaurant in Saratoga after, and everybody at their table has their phone on when a race is going on in Del Mar. I mean, everybody. It's just, everybody. You don't have to tell them to put on a channel or this and that. No, everybody's glued into what's going on, to every horse race that they can. So I love both of them for what they are. Both are awesome towns that are completely different.
Yeah, correct. And Saratoga is a hardcore racing town, whereas Del Mar,
yes,
like you said, it's more of the party atmosphere. People like to, early in the morning, maybe Milton's there has Saratoga on and TVG. But like you said, you have to request it at most places, whereas Saratoga, everybody's paying attention to Del Mar, what's going on. They make their advanced wagers, whether it's on, the mobile apps or if they bet on at the track before they leave, for dinner. It's definitely a consummate racing town. They even have the pink sheet there, Jimmy. You know that, where they give you the end of day results for Saratoga, and they deliver that right in the restaurants and the higher end restaurants. So, Saratoga is just they both bring so much to the table, but Saratoga is the consummate racing town.
Yeah, no doubt. You got anything on the card today that you like?
I was looking. I was scanning through it. I really didn't have anything as of yet that stands out. But, I'm definitely handicapping. You know that. I'm going to formulate
I know what's going on, Charlie. Here you go. He's been counting all the money after the American game, the soccer game Monday night. It's taken you 4 days to count all your money that you all won on that soccer match Monday night, huh?
That and the Mexico game as well. So, yeah, definitely. We were definitely ecstatic at Caesar Sports and the resort at Summerlin. U.S. was winning games, and definitely it hurts, from a win-loss perspective. But the handle was just unbelievable for all these United States and Mexico games. It was really, really exciting. Now you still have Messi alive, so we're going to see how they play out. And, we got a game today, Morocco and France. Morocco is definitely battle-tested, but France is the favorite. And, it's going to be a tough one.
Now, I know his last name ends in a vowel, so don't try and claim him as one of y'all, okay? Messi. All right, he's Argentine, okay? All right, don't start with that.
We're not starting nothing. He's
hey, what
superstar, though, that's left, without a doubt.
I did hear one shop in Las Vegas actually had a bigger handle for the Sunday night England-Mexico game. How close was that game to Monday night's American game?
It was very close, yeah, definitely. There was a lot of interest, heightened interest in England and Mexico. And, definitely we have a huge Mexican clientele that comes in here for these soccer games. And the area that we're very close to Mexico. And you have a lot of rabid fans. They love their soccer. And they were coming out for all the games. But, now it's over.
But it's been good, huh, Dwayne, in the middle of the summer when it is slower.
Yeah, it's definitely it helps handle. Usually it's dead. You don't have a buzz in the book, but we have these games on the video wall. You're going to see the book packed for these World Cup games, and yes, it definitely was exciting this year, and it did add a little flavor to the summer menu.
I'm sorry, Dwayne, fill me in again, since it's gone from the Rampart to the resort at Summerlin. Is it still your property still partners with the South Point?
No, we're Caesar Sports.
Okay.
Yeah, we're Caesar Sports, fully Caesar Sports, and I control the pari-mutuel. We are the resort at Summerlin, our own pari-mutuel entity for the horse racing. But the sports is the Caesar Sports menu. You could download the app at any time, play around with it. I mean, look at the betting options. It's just an incredible betting menu, and it's a great affiliation. It's gone smoothly ever since the Super Bowl, and business is incredible.
Yeah, and so if you have an account, like when we have all the accounts here in Louisiana, but because there's a brick and mortar, they don't have FanDuel and DraftKings in Nevada. And so you just flip over and you can bet anywhere in Nevada if you're visiting Las Vegas, if you have an account from another state, a Caesars account.
Yeah, definitely. As long as there's wagering, sports wagering, you could use your Caesars account. You could actually sign up here and use it in Louisiana. So yes, definitely, that's an amazing affiliation. 22 states, I believe, Caesars is licensed in.
Okay.
Coach, I want to ask you about the Raiders. What kind of buzz you got going right now? New coach, number one pick in the draft. You spent some money in free agency. I went and looked it up. The Raiders are 23 games under 500 since they moved to Las Vegas. The one playoff game that they lost. This has got to be – I mean, I know that the year that they moved there was the COVID year, so it kind of stunted everything. But this has got to be the most encouragement heading into a season. You starting to hear a little bit of that around Vegas?
Well, there's a buzz, but, I mean, no buzz like the Gruden era, without a doubt. So, you're starting to get a little more hype now just because you do have, a fabulous quarterback coming in, number one pick, all that going on. But, the buzz is consistent when it comes to the Raiders. You still have your Oakland, your L.A. fans that still root for this team. Raider fans are very rabid, and they're taking and embracing Las Vegas now. But they haven't been successful, Charlie. That's the whole problem. We have to have a little success. They are the polar opposite of the Vegas Golden Knights. I mean, Vegas Golden Knights are still the kings out here until the Raiders win a playoff game and, create some buzz. And it's going to be tough in that division. I mean, that division is stacked. Granted, you have two quarterbacks coming off massive injuries, and we're going to see how that plays out. But that's a very, very difficult division. You saw how well Denver played last year. You know that the Chiefs are a very tough opponent, and San Diego as well, or the L.A., I should say. The Chargers are very tough as well. So, it's going to be tough for them to make the playoffs. But there is buzz always. NFL is king out here from a gambling standpoint. I'm not so sure that the Raiders are the kings of Las Vegas like the Vegas Golden Knights, like I said. But, they're definitely on the cusp of turning the corner and creating some buzz.
Well, you had the worst record in the league last year, so what's realistic to hope for? I mean, if you doubled your win total, you get to 6
and 11.
So
got to be. Is that probably there?
What's realistic to hope for, Kaluch?
Yeah, I would say 5.5, 6. I mean, doubling would be a huge accomplishment, in my opinion, if they could double the win total. And we're going to see. It's a new coach, new quarterback, new era. Let's see how they play out. But like I said, the AFC is stacked. Very tough division, tough scheduling as well. So, that would be a major accomplishment, Charlie, if they could double that win total.
I'm reading that novel on Sean Payton in Denver, and they feel like they were just one or two pieces away from winning the whole thing. But they also had their fair share of good fortune last year in that 14-3 record.
The Raiders, and this is at the Caesar Sportsbook at the resort at Summerlin where Dwayne is, and they have tied for the third and fourth lowest win total at 7. It's basically 6.5. 7+ pays is minus 120. With the Jets only shorter odds in Miami and Arizona.
Can I give you what I would consider a win for them?
Sure, is if you can answer your own question, Charlie.
Well, this is what I would tell me if this.
We got used to you not being there, Jim.
He's about to go on vacation. I'm about to have. I feel like what it's like to be without him. No, the Saints won only one more game
so how did the
last
Saints
year.
Come into a Raider conversation. Who cares?
I'm going to tell you that. I'm going to tell you.
Don't you let the Saints start 2-0. We're going to start texting you. Don't let them start 2-0.
Especially against that 2-0. No, here's how it tied in. The Saints only won one more game last year, and they won the year before that. But it was how they looked doing it, and could they work? When was the quarterback going to take over? And that for Mendoza, it may be game 1, it may be game 4, maybe game 7, I don't know. But when the quarterback took over in New Orleans, it felt different. Not the first game, they got blasted by the Rams. But after that, it felt a little bit different. Whoa. It encouraged them moving forward. If the Raiders went 5-12 or 6-11, Mendoza takes over at some point and looks the part, then I think that's a successful
Charlie,
season.
what he's trying to tell you is Raider fans are like the casual U.S. soccer fans now. You got to show me. I'm not getting all excited before it happens. And you set yourself up again with these Saints. I'm telling you. There's a lot of we're so starving. They threw us one little scrap. We were like, oh man, we can win the division. We're a fashionable pick. And you set yourself up again. They might. But let's not. So
they're going to open 0-2. They're going to open 0-2, and I already know I'm going to start. The negativity is going to come in because they're not going to beat Detroit. They're not going to beat Baltimore. But after that,
we are going to win the 2-0 Super Bowl, Charlie. Again, we're going to win it.
They're going
to go to Dallas and smoke
0-2.
them. Can we rearrange the schedule and smoke them in Jerry's world?
Dallas is third.
I'm
dreading week 3 because it's going to be the Saints. They're going to be better.
All right,
0-2.
Now let me ask you this: we talk about hype, we talk about expectations and getting excited, but Dallas did have a really good offense last year, and they have some stability there. And I would say the young coach, passed. I mean, he got a favorable grade last year. Was that fair, Charlie?
Yeah.
And now they're going to use some of that Micah Parsons and improve their defense. The kid out of Ohio. You think that Dallas could be it was always more sizzle than steak, but they with an improved defense can be a little bit of a factor in the NFC?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you got Washington on a bounce back year. We're going to see how they play out. Massive injuries on the Giants, as you could see. I mean, we're going to see if Neighbors and Scatterboo could come back. And Philly, you never know. I mean, no more Brown. We're going to see how that locker room plays out, and if Sirianni could keep it stable. But definitely, Dallas does have a chance. They're not too far, out of the playoff question.
To get that running game going again, Javonte Williams was a big surprise last year. The monster year.
I've always liked him, man.
He's a very good player.
Just his running style, he can get a little banged up.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I didn't necessarily think you'd get that from him last year. Can you get that again?
Yeah. Dwayne, we appreciate it. Keep Charlie straight while I'm gone, and feel free.
Didn't we do fine without him last week?
Feel free to answer his questions and not allow him to just have a monologue through the entire show. Max, you can kind of butt in as well from time to time if you don't mind. Charlie likes to just dominate that mic.
Yeah, especially in July. My favorite thing to do.
He's getting in July, August mode.
Yeah.
He's expecting us not to be around.
They can't shut him up in July and August.
Definitely. Here's one for you guys. Race 6 I'm looking at here. It's Saratoga. It's 5-horse, Brisbane. Chad Brown and Manny Franco second off the layoff. This horse might be able to make a little noise.
Chad Brown at Toga, baby. That's not a bad option.
He's got another one in the race. So, better exact the box there, 2-5. Brown might run 1-2 in this race.
Well done, buddy. We appreciate it. Good luck to you. We'll talk to you next week.
Love you guys. Definitely say hi to everybody in Baton Rouge, and let's cash some horse tickets, you guys.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget our friends at United Community Bank, the local way to bank big, and locations from Baton Rouge to Golden Meadow, including their newest branch at Burbank and Blue Bonnet. Been serving the people of Southern Louisiana for over 50 years. I've got an account over at United Community Bank. Great folks, man. Heath Meir, Nicole Glover, Hunter Creed, David Campbell, David Henry, and Prentice Wilkes. Stop on by and discuss how we can help your business today. United Community Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Live from the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Live at lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Slew of baseball on this afternoon. In fact, the Braves are already up 1-0 on the Pirates in the game that started about 20 minutes ago. We got two games that are starting here in about 15 minutes. We've got multiple games starting in the noon hour, and the Red Sox and White Sox at 10 after 1. Royals and the Mets, Yankees and the Rays, Cubs, Orioles, Guardians, Twins, Red Sox, White Sox, all on your afternoon schedule. Jimmy, anything that jumps out with the early slate.
I like the Rays. You know, the Rays, I mean, just the Yankees. How about Goldschmidt now? 0 for 34.
Yeah.
0 for 34, but he's being patient at the plate. He's walking a lot. He's walked once during that span.
He was what did he do yesterday? Because he was 0 for 7, 0 for 8 with 7 strikeouts in the series before yesterday.
Well, he was 0 for 30 before yesterday. He's now 0 for 34.
Okay.
So we're 0 for 4.
He struck out 3 more times yesterday. That's 0 for 12 in a series with 10 strikeouts. Yikes.
And that's after back-to-back games where the Yankees struck out 17 times in each game in Game 1 and 2. So it's the last game of a 4-game set. Tampa Bay started with a 4-game lead. The Yankees cut it to 3. Now it's back up to 5. And, man, this thing's getting – and they are just playing bad. They are dying to get back, Aaron Judge. I like the Royals a little bit this afternoon. Michael Wacha has been very consistent this year. I'm not sure. He might even made the All-Star team. But Sean Manaea has been not so much. Both teams struggle in the field a little bit, but pitching advantage and coming back plus money. Give me the Kansas City Royals first pitch at Citi Field at 12:10. Cubs and Orioles. Cubs are hitting, Charlie. Cubs are hitting. Peterson's throwing. He's suspect. Go with the over in Baltimore and Chicago. First pitch in that game's at 12:35.
Goldschmidt had 10 multi-hit games in June.
Yeah.
When the Yankees were rolling, and he's just in a slight old veteran going through a really, really rough patch. Hour number 2 straight ahead here at the original Walk-Ons Burbank and Nicholson live at lunch 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Lunch with Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Back here at Walk-Ons live at lunch. Perfect spot to come by and watch the World Cup a little bit later on this afternoon, although Max tells us that France is a absolute lock
I did not say
today.
that.
Oh, yeah, he's already downgrading.
Give me a future pick right now, Max. I mean, give me to win it all. Spain, really?
They're the second choice. That might be a little boring.
I
know a lot of people say that Argentina, that the refs are rigging it for Argentina. That's all I've been hearing, after the Egypt match. And look, there were some inconsistencies. Let's be fair. I mean, you had a length of the field goal by Egypt overturned when Argentina also had a similar moment at midfield where there was a foul that won the ball. Argentina went on to score, and the VAR didn't even look at it. And so whether you want to say it's rigged or just – look, refs have – we see it in every sport, right? They show favorability, whether they know it or not, to the big players, the big teams. And Argentina, no doubt, has gotten a favorable look at things from the refs and VAR, but I don't think that means Argentina is ready. Look, they've had a couple close matches, and Switzerland could pose a threat to them as well, but I think France could be in trouble today. Unfortunately, Morocco's best goal scorer is out for this match with a hamstring injury.
That's why he said Morocco.
And so that's why it's tough to see Morocco winning and advancing today, but they're a threatening side that played Argentina. It's a rematch of the 2022 World Cup semifinal, I believe, between France and Morocco. So it's an interesting matchup, but I think France is overvalued in the market at -175. I think Spain is the side that would be intriguing to me as a favorite. And Jimmy, I'm sure you could be sold very easily on Norway at 16-1 to win it all.
No. Actually, no.
I do think it could be a favorable.
I like Holland. I mean, he's fun to watch. I mean, but no, I don't. I'm not.
I think
he's dangerous. What he does, he provides something that you just don't see from other teams because nobody else is that big and that strong, and a little skilled along with it. So I just no, but I don't take them as a serious threat to win it all. I don't.
I mean, Spain's got Belgium. I think they'll advance there, but Spain's plus 370, so they're second choice. Norway at 15-1. I do think Norway's got a chance against England. I would not be playing England.
The bounce factor. I mean, that was a big time effort.
No doubt. And
big time atmosphere. I mean, do they what is an exhale spot for England?
Norway beat Brazil, and that's a big win for them, of course. It's a huge advancement for them. So you could say that's a wash, but I agree. England, with all of that, and maybe there's a tiring of playing at elevation. Maybe they see those effects later on rather than in that match itself.
And look, we've had a lot of fun with the Norwegian fans and stuff like that, and they're excited because they've never been this far, and so it's all on the ride up with them, and they're capitalizing on having the best player and maybe the history of their country, with Holland. But and there are a lot of fans. There's a lot of Brazil fans, so that was a great atmosphere. But going into Mexico City and playing that level of game was impressive by England, man. That was really, really strong. Right after our buddy Nigel Seeley said, I want him to come back in this game when they were losing just so I could bet the house on Mexico.
Right. He eventually kind of changed his tune on that a little bit. I don't think he was as in on Mexico as he ended up thinking, because the price kind of dipped a little bit, and the market sort of weighed that in from what it first opened at. But, yes, look, Mexico was a very tough out, and I think you got to give them credit. They were the best host nation, unfortunately. The U.S. had plenty of great moments, but Mexico was right there when it mattered against a better side than Belgium and England, and just couldn't get it done.
They had a tougher draw than the U.S.
Slightly. There's none of the host nations were that bad because they were in pot one, so they didn't get any of the top nations. And there weren't many groups of death. I guess France kind of had a tough draw, but getting out of the group when 3 teams can advance out of a 4-team group, it's not that hard.
England's more respected than Belgium at this point.
No doubt. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And they lost to a better side than the U.S. did, in my opinion. And I still think, despite the U.S. laying an egg, I still don't think that from a talent perspective, the starting 11 is that dissimilar. I still would maybe put U.S. as a team ahead of Belgium in terms of their skill in their starting 11. It's just the U.S. laid a big egg in the moment.
All right, how are we supposed to interpret this news that Pulisic was playing with a serious injury?
Well, he sustained I guess a hairline fracture, a very, I forget the term of it, like a microscopic sort of fracture in his bone, as well as a bone bruise. So, look, he had a fracture in his leg. That's tough. Ideally, he goes down in that moment, when he kicks the player's leg and doesn't, try to play on for 5 minutes. But at least it takes out maybe a question of his toughness. I guess some people would argue he could still have played on a fractured leg, but I don't know. It's ultimately more about the big picture with Pulisic, a guy who took the entire Gold Cup off, took basically a year off of international play. It's a guy who reaps all the benefits of being a big star, but maybe doesn't want to be the star, and a team that lacks a real leader in some capacity. Remember, this is the first match that they really went down early in the match, and look, they didn't look good from the very first minute, so I'm not going to say that they were just stunned by being down from the get-go. But overall, it was a team that maybe just lacks the leadership, and Christian Pulisic's not that guy. He doesn't want the spotlight, even though the spotlight is on him, and he does reap some of the benefits of it.
It's off now. He's off my spotlight.
No,
what's he?
You've got a lot of former players that have criticized him as well, so maybe he's just not internally respected as much as, the commercialization of him might have you believe. There have been moments, in terms of practice and things that reports have come out, and it's open season.
Charlie, when you hit with those endorsements, it's hard to decline them, huh? When they want you to do, hey, with the credit card commercial, we want you to do.
They're not going to ask him for that a year from now.
Look, when we were at Dick's yesterday, it's him and McKinney was the main jerseys that had the most. Right. Ethan was fired up when I brought him one home. Seriously, so the guy is likable. He's, but it's.
Those opportunities are only going to be there so many times. A year from now, he's not going to have those type of endorsement opportunities.
But are we asking him to be somebody he's not just a, but he's also he's a small guy. He's not as physical as some of the stars from the main stars, the faces of the team from different countries, and so and that contributes to his fragility.
He's fragile, but this is a legitimate injury. This changes things a little bit for me, at least that this is out there.
He's going to miss a few weeks, at least a few weeks.
This is not I've got a muscle strain or I'm soreness or anything like that. this is a legitimate injury.
Well,
You got a hairline fracture in your leg. I watch baseball players try to play with a hairline fracture. You can't shift your weight. It's tough. I mean, that's in baseball when you're just at the plate, much less being on a soccer pitch.
Part of it is the visual, right? He's supposed to be the leader. You know, he's coined Captain America. I know he wasn't the captain on this team, but he's sort of slumped over in tears, you know, on the sideline where other players maybe subbed off, try to get the team going. I think part of it was the U.S. went down 3-1, and it was a brutal goal against Belgium, right? You know, the goalkeeper just gets flubbed, you know, tries to get caught in two minds and just gives the ball away.
Do you
Tim Ream
officiate
couldn't clear it.
U10 soccer?
I have, yes.
Have you ever seen that in U10?
Yes.
I mean, the goalkeeper. I mean, what are you doing, man?
Jimmy, I'm not going to say it happens often, but unfortunately, goalkeepers now are taught more in terms of distribution. They're expected to pass more, and they make more mistakes like that than they used to. When it used to be just clear the ball.
No.
Nowadays, like 10 years ago, clear that ball. Just get rid of it. But he was in two minds.
Can we keep your goal first, and then we'll expand upon that responsibility?
No doubt. I agree. It was a clear mistake. It was brutal from a goalkeeper that wasn't trusted to begin with. However,
that's a part too, and there was
concerns
they kind of
about
slid it on. We didn't want to talk too much.
Well, he wasn't tested. He wasn't really tested up until that point. Here's the thing that's shocking. Argentina, did they come back from 2-0 with like 80 minutes or something to go? You know, they've done it. We've seen these comebacks in this tournament, and yet you look at the body language.
Senegal.
Right, late, you know, past 80 minutes.
Yes.
You look at the body language, a lot of these, you know, career players, Pulisic, whatnot, it felt like they thought it was over at 3-1 with 30 minutes to go. There was a half hour to go, and it felt like it was over. And that takes somebody, you know, Weston McKennie, who I think is the biggest leader on this team, Tim Ream, who's 38, and he had a terrible match, but he's I guess, the leader on this team. He wore the captain's armband. But that's where they need something from a Pulisic and whatnot. And you can't help if your stars just don't want the leadership role. But he is ducking the responsibilities. He's been critical of certain old players who are critical of the team. He's like, look, you know, him and Haji Wright were in a documentary, and they basically said, look, it hurts a little bit because I respect these players, but they're critical of our team. And I'm like, well, you've been in these situations, and you haven't made it as far as us. So he's a little fragile, not just in terms of injuries, but it seems like some of the criticism gets to him a little bit more than it should.
The political involvement, how much does that hurt the chances to host in 2038?
I think it does, and we're seeing more of this kind of response since then. France appealed the yellow card, and to me they had a pretty clear case on why the yellow card should be removed. It was denied by FIFA. Today, if you remember England's player who got red carded, you know, it was a dangerous play. It was a clear red card. There's no disputing that. He got his suspension not reduced, not taken away, except added on. He got a second game tacked on to his red card suspension. So it's the lone incident, and you're seeing, I believe, Andrew Giuliani, who was a part of the World Cup bid for the U.S., he basically admitted. He said, you know what, we'll take the credit. We thought it was wrong, and so we got involved, and we said this can't stand. So you have the U.S. side of things basically admitting that they inputted this, which we all knew that they had some influence on this decision. But, of course, it hurts. I think you're just going to have to follow and see if Gianni Infantino gets reelected as president, because he is more inclined to get this done. But the way the federations work, I think you get the U.S. and CONCACAF. They will obviously all vote for a 2038 World Cup, but it's going to be met with a lot more restriction and tension at this point worldwide, considering a lot of Europeans didn't want this World Cup to succeed at all. I learned this a little bit in the last couple weeks. They wanted this to be a failure because we're letting the Americans.
Who wanted to fail?
European fans, just in general.
Okay.
They wanted.
Not the people that traveled.
Well, it's been a success for the most part, right? But they were looking for reasons because they don't like this administration. They don't like U.S. soccer in general.
Right.
And also, they don't like having to watch matches at 3 a.m. in the morning, right? It's an inconvenience for them. They're used to watching matches more at their time. So they wanted this to fail, and now they've got something that they can pin on and say, look, this is why this World Cup was a failure. That's why the media all in Europe has just feasted with the story and still hasn't let it go despite the U.S. being gone.
They pounced on the first.
I think that's the problem.
Yeah.
You had so many incentives for these European
Yeah,
countries
don't-
to want to hate this, and now they have a reason.
Yeah, you can't take on free chips and nachos or ranch dressing. It can't do that.
No, and
or top-notch air conditioning.
they were
Charlie.
complaining about prices and how the stadiums wouldn't be full.
That's
Sure, but the
that's-
stadiums have been full. At the end of the day, it's
Oh.
been worth it for FIFA. It wasn't like empty seats because of the prices. They wanted to complain about so many things and how it would be a disaster, that the heat would affect, the thunderstorms would impact so many games. They've been fortunate. There have not been many delays in this match, in this tournament either.
They don't have facilities like these, these retractable roofs.
No.
Or they, in Dallas, and they were complaining about the heat in Dallas, but when they walked in, they're like, oh, air conditioning can work like this. I mean,
Yes.
they were blown away. So the people, for the most part, had a favorable. You don't want to take your money, invest your money and travel and time away from your job and have a miserable experience. But yes, I understand, the inconvenience and the political distaste. No, I get all that.
With a straight face, 2 days ago, FIFA said we will quadruple our television ask rate, and they're probably going to get it. It's really hard to label a tournament a failure if you have quadrupled your rate.
Well put, Charlie.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed. No. Tell the organizers, and ultimately the FIFA's calling the shots, huh?
Well,
FIFA's got their logo over the advertisers of the stadium.
And the TV money is going to probably going to trump. What do we say in the Southeastern Conference when they park a game in September at 2:30 in the afternoon? It's hot. They say, this is how much we make for putting it on TV at that time. Shut up and go play.
Attendance, viewership, the whole shebang. I mean, it's been
July 5th, again, 53% on Kalshi, the U.S., to host the 2038 World Cup. It's kind of settled in. They're now at 38%, or 30%. 30%.
Max, it got in the 60s.
1 and 3.
They got in the 60s at one point.
Okay. Yeah, this graph I'm looking
at one point.
I'm sure.
At one point.
Okay. I will say they want to grow the game in Asia. China is 28%. That is a route that the World Cup could go. And that's something that maybe the other federations would look at. China and Asian soccer, for the most part, is pretty weak, right? South Korea, Japan, they've got some good
teams, so the European media, but how strong and how impactful are they? That's fine. Everybody can be upset, but I don't think they could strong arm FIFA. The ultimate strong arm, huh?
The way FIFA elects their presidents is kind of similar to Heisman voting. You know how it's regional? You can have one region
used to be a lot
very
more.
heavily weight. Yeah. They can do that. Europe kind of speaks for this, but it's all, can you pay off the African Federation? Can you pay off the South American Federation? Can you pay off UEFA and the European? All these federations can be paid, and they can buy certain things. So if Europe can align with Asia, or if South Africa can align with Africa, or some way to vote in a way that affects the U.S. and CONCACAF from getting a 2038 World Cup, it can happen. So it's not as just like FIFA can rule the day because the U.S. made a bunch of money.
With fewer AC breakdowns, lower energy bills, and year-round peace of mind, you get all of that when you join the Total Maintenance Membership Program. Just call us up at 480-0007. Regular maintenance keeps your system running efficiently while catching problems before they become costly repairs. If repairs are needed, they're backed by our lifetime warranty. Need a replacement? Financing is available. The Elite Membership Plan is $39.95 a month, but it comes with a $200 signing bonus, and then half of that monthly fee goes straight to credit. We call them TM bucks, and that is when it's time to replace some equipment, you've got the money set up so you don't get that sticker shock and get that really costly replacement. Service 2 times a year, 50% off diagnostics, 50% off all repairs. All repairs come with a 3-year warranty, an app to identify when a breakdown is about to happen, and we'll keep track of the schedule. You don't have to worry about anything. Lower monthly bills, extend the lifetime of your unit. I mean, win the whole play, and it runs more efficiently. It cools down properly. Total maintenance in their membership programs. 480-0007. 480-0007.
Live with the original walk-ons, live at lunch. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
Week from Monday, SEC Media Days start in Tampa. Big 12 took their turn this week. And Brett Yormark, who is the commissioner of the league, well, he took some questions. He knew Texas Tech was going to come up. Jimmy, what did he say? Or rather, what didn't he say?
And as a traditional, just like with Sankey in SEC Media Days, it starts off with his basically State of the League address. And then he opens it up to questions. Yeah. And that's what Yormark did. The first question comes up and says that, basically, did you ever support Texas Tech in this attempt to, reinstate eligibility for Sorsby? And at what point did you back off? And what made you? And, the first one, he says, today is not the time to address that issue. Today is about celebrating the upcoming football season and celebrating our 16 schools. Says that we're moving forward as 16 strong. Reporter pressed him on this and said that Texas Tech, the treatment of Texas Tech compared to other conference traditions in his previous team, Cincinnati. And he still refused to comment. It's media days. This is, you're asking the media, do you think you're not going to, you're the leader of the conference. You have to speak publicly on this.
We've been to enough of these. We've been to enough of these things that we know the format. This is for the commissioners a cheerleading session. This is a pep rally. How many times
he did all that.
Yeah. And how many times have we seen, I remember one of the first years Sankey was up there. It might have been his first year. We were waiting for him to say something about Jeffrey Simmons dragging this poor woman across a parking lot, which was on video, and instead he spent 45 minutes telling us that what he listened to on his iPad and about how many soccer players and gymnasts and softball players and track athletes had made the honor roll. And it's like, hang on, we don't mind you doing that. I understand it's a publicity jump for the league, but at some point you have to, address the issues. This is twofold for Yormark and for Texas Tech. There's two things at play here. One is the gambling aspect of this, which everybody seems to be on the same side of. The second part of it is there is a growing feeling at Texas Tech, tell me if you haven't heard this before, that the league is against them. And the question that came to Yormark was from a Lubbock-based radio host, a guy named Sean Dillon, who wanted to know about basically biased enforcement of rules. He talked about Oklahoma State, that the things they do with the tradition of paddling the stadium walls and the tortilla ban, that they got on Texas. Relatively minor things in relation to what they're talking about with the gambling. And at Texas Tech, they feel like they are being targeted, if you will, for a little bit of extra.
That's college fans, Charlie. Come on,
this is the question. I'm bringing it up because this is the question that sparked it. And when he says, I didn't say that the greater 12, it is that we're going forward as 16 strong. Yormark had an excellent opportunity here, a golden opportunity to differentiate between enforcing gambling and any type of perceived slight against Texas Tech, who right now is the torchbearer in that conference. They've got the most money. Yeah. They're new money, but they've got the most juice. He could have very clearly said, we are against student-athletes gambling. Doesn't matter what school they play for, doesn't matter what position, doesn't matter what sport. We are always, as a league, going to enforce that at its strictest possible levels. Now, it just so happened that this case was our highest profile school. You didn't have to say it like that. At the highest profile position. But make no mistake, if we're going to punish Brendan Sorsby, if we're going to enforce our rules at the legal level, at the conference rule level, it doesn't matter whether it's a quarterback at Texas Tech or it's a backup infielder on Baylor's softball team. This rule will be enforced. We will enforce it with everything we got. We will not hesitate to do that. And he didn't. And maybe it was because he had to meet with Texas Tech officials later. Apparently they all went out and got a steak and sang Kumbaya. But he missed that. You can do all the cheerleading stuff, but you got to address this too. And he didn't. And I thought it was a mistake.
Obviously. I mean, you're not doing your job. If you don't want the job, quit. I mean, I'm sorry. You have to answer questions publicly at your media days about, no, it's not just a pom-pom session. But the other thing is, I think he handled the league the thing accordingly, and that should count more than just an explanation of it.
Yeah.
But the league stepped in. Remember when we're talking about it? Yes. It's not the Georgia athletic director. We've never played you before. We won't schedule you again. Well, you never have in the first place, okay? Right. So, no, but the league, whatever, if it was clumsy or not, they still, they did the right thing, And as far as, look, it's fans. I mean, everybody knows that Barry Bonds is on steroids and wants to talk about it, but the Giants fans, okay? I mean, so everybody knows that, you can't gamble and continue to play. You've been warned about it a million times. You can't do it, but minus the Texas Tech fans. So, I mean, that's fans. So, as far as them being sort of isolated or not in front. The one thing is, though, is he afraid about losing his biggest dog?
Yeah, I think that's it.
So Texas Tech is definitely the most. They're the strongest outfit in the most popular sport, no question. Okay, they laid a tremendous egg against Oregon in the playoff, but still, I mean, they're it, and we know about with their financial stability.
This would have been a lot easier to do to Iowa State. No question.
So for him just to say, okay, I'm not going to piss off Texas Tech, I'm just not going to answer it.
Yeah, and
that's dumb.
Well, I think it keeps the story going even further. He had a chance to address this and then say, and this is the last time we're going to talk about it. So
when he says what you want him to say there, Texas Tech might get their feelings hurt there.
Well,
and then they get scooped up by the SEC. I'm just saying, Charlie.
I'm going to take that chance. For this, I'm going to take that chance. And if you leave, you leave. Not that they've got an invitation, but I get where you're going. With all of this money, they're going to be an attractive thing. You lose the opportunity to make a stand on one of your most important issues, and you also lose the chance to put the story to bed, to say, listen, we went through this. We talked with Texas Tech. We talked with our league members. We talked with our lawyers. We talked with Sorsby. And this is the decision we're going to make. And we're going to make this decision every time when it comes to the issue of gambling. When you say this is not the time to talk about it, now you open this up to when Texas Tech opens the season, and you're going to have this story again. Certainly when Texas Tech goes to Cincinnati, who also got a letter of inquiry this week on the Sorsby thing. Now, it looks like it's mostly procedural, but you got to go through that. You're going to open up the story again. If you close it right here, you just said, I've addressed that. I mean, this is politics 101. You address it and you move on.
I know, Charlotte, but you act like you're privy to the conversations privately between Texas Tech and
I'm not,
and Yormark. Like, hey, look, man, don't slam us. I mean, Texas Tech carries a little weight. They are the one entry of that conference that you got to respect.
I know all about certain teams in certain conferences carrying more weight than others. Speaking of Big 12,
let's talk to Paul Stone next. He was here. He was in Frisco.
Oh, good. Well,
let's get him on the phone.
By the way, it's the Monster Energy Big 12 now. They got a big sponsorship deal. Gives about $1 million annually. It seems like a little light. They're basically every Big 12 logo on the football, the jerseys, the field itself, on both the basketball teams and football is going to have Monster Energy with it as well.
They're the first conference to tap into private equity, which the other conferences, especially the SEC, are resisting with everything they got, because once they're in, you ain't ever going to get them out. Now, that's not what you're talking about here. You're talking about a league-wide sponsorship. Yeah. But they have tapped into private equity for what I'm told is considerably less than what the rights to that should be worth. But let's talk to Paul Stone. I think that's an excellent idea. We're brought to you by the Thibodeau Store. It is National Grilling Month. It means big time specials at the Thibodeau Store on Brawl Kings. Save big dollars at the website thethibodeaustore.com. The Brawl King Crowns, the Brawl King Barons, both on special right now. Save between 15 and 25% on some of these. Tool deals from DeWalt, also from Channel Lock. Outdoor cooking equipment and all of the accessories, outdoor patio furniture, poolside furniture, cordless power tools, all of your hand tools, painting supplies, fishing supplies down at the Thibodeau Store if you're going down to the coast fishing. And if you're building on your property this summer, lumber is able for delivery out of both the store in Lockport and the store at Pierre Part to have your lumber delivered to you, all of your building supplies. TheThibodeauStore.com is the website. 900 St. Patrick Highway if you're visiting in person. The Pierre Part store at Highway 70 in Pierre Part. Thibodeau Store and TheThibodeauStore.com. Live at Walk-Ons, the original, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
All right, let's hook it up with Paul Stone, my podcast partner on the Bet Rivers Network, and also at Paul Stone Sports, veteran college football and basketball handicapper in Frisco, Texas for the Big 12 Media Days. Paul, thanks for coming on, buddy.
Hey, good to be with you, Jimmy. I tell you, once these media days start, just a little bit after July 4th, it means we're closing in on the start of college football. So a great time of the year, a lot of anticipation, and it's going to be here before we know it.
What were you in the room when Brett Yormark sort of gave his opening State of the League address and then refused to ask the Sorsby question as if he didn't know he was going to be hit with that? We'll start off with the big dominate before we get on to the on-field stuff.
Yeah, I was in the room, and it was, I was speaking to several people afterwards about that. You have to know, as you indicated, you have to know you're going to be asked that question or those questions in some form or another about Brendan Sorsby. And, he handled it miserably. He really, I think he made himself look bad. If you're going to be the leader of an organization, the commissioner of one of the, Power 4 leagues of college football, you got to have a little thicker skin than that. You also have to work a little better with the media. And I know there's probably some history there and all that, but he really handled it poorly, and just I think he was loaded for bear, and the first person asked the question, he just let him have it.
When you talk about this league, you're talking about still without Sorsby, Texas Tech, a weak non-conference schedule, favorable schedule period, and a hell of a roster. They had a great roster last year. Maybe a little bit almost maybe pulled the U.S. soccer team, when they got to the playoff, and then they could lay a complete egg. I'm wondering if the quarterback was hurt, during that game as well. But they are still the class of the league. And is anybody going to challenge them?
I think the only team that could challenge Texas Tech, and I do agree with you, they are the class of the league. And if Will Hampton is healthy, there's no question about it. But I think the one team that could, maybe two teams, but the primary team would be BYU. They have Bear Bachmeier back at quarterback, had an incredible true freshman season. He actually accomplished some numbers in his true freshman season, those being 3,000 yards passing, 500 yards rushing, 10 or fewer turnovers, and accounting for at least 25 touchdowns. Only the 19th quarterback in the last 20 years in the Power Conference to accomplish all those standards. So really good year there for Bear Bachmeier. L.J. Martin back at running back, one of the best in the country, always played great defense. So I think BYU could challenge Texas Tech if anybody's going to. And then the University of Houston. You and I have mutual affection for their head coach, Willie Fritz, a guy who coached at Tulane prior to coming to Houston, at Sam Houston State before that. And going back further, was a junior college coach in Texas at both Glenn College and Navarro College way back in the day. So Houston with their quarterback or their quarterbacks, they've got veteran Connor Wegman as their starter, a former 5-star, and then they have a current 5-star also coming in at quarterback, Keyshawn Henderson, a guy who many had rated as the top quarterback in the entire class. He's going to play a lot. Fritz said he'll have the entire package at his disposal when he gets in the game. So I think Houston's another team that could surprise and perhaps make a bid. But if Will Hammond stays healthy, Texas Tech, their starting 22, just 1-22, is far superior to anybody in the league. And I think at even money, which I'm seeing at one sports book today to win the Big 12 Conference Championship game, I think they're a splendid play at even money or plus 100 to win that game.
Connor Wegman and, our listening audience certainly watched him a little closer in the SEC at Texas A&M. And, kind of looks like this pocket passer, big guy, maybe a little fragile, had some injuries, had a little success and then tapered off. And so, but when I'm watching the games, like Willie Fritz, he conveyed it to him, said, man, we're going to need you to, move the chains a few times a game with your legs. And he was taking on tacklers, and I'm like, is this the same guy? And he's back for another year. That surprised me, man. Willie Fritz got a little toughness out of Wegman that I just didn't think he had.
Yeah, I tell you, Connor Wegman is a dual-threat guy. Like you said, when called upon, he can run the ball. And, I mean, you look at this class of quarterbacks in the Big 12 this year, a lot of really top-notch quarterbacks, many of them dual-threat type guys. You mentioned Wegman. Bachmeyer at BYU, Devon Dampier at Utah, Avery Johnson at Kansas State. A guy, I tell you, not getting a lot of attention now at UCF is James Madison transfer Alonzo Barnett, a guy who was the Sun Belt Offensive Player of the Year 1 year ago at James Madison. And then a couple other guys that, people aren't even talking about. DJ Lagway at Baylor. I know he threw a ton of interceptions at Florida, but he's got a high ceiling. And then Julian Lewis, playing for Coach Prime at Colorado, a former 5-star recruit. Everybody in the nation wanted Julian Lewis a few years ago. Tremendous class of quarterbacks this year in the Big 12.
And one guy I really liked as a freshman, he had a tough sophomore year, but bounced back last year. Noah Fafita, who's played a lot of football in Arizona, and they played really well down the stretch. I think they won their last 6 games before the bowl game last year. Last 5 or 6 games before the bowl game. Maybe he has his best season.
What's your thoughts on Arizona, Paul?
Yeah, and I mean, I was remiss in not mentioning Fafita. He's the returning first-team All-Big 12 quarterback from a year ago, and he gives them, you got that quarterback position taken care of. That certainly gives you, the ability to be quite competitive. They had a great year last year, and I think hearing Coach Brent Brennan, their head coach, talk about this season, they've got 13 starters back. I'll tell you one thing that sometimes can regress to the mean. They were plus 18 last year in turnovers. So they really benefited from winning the turnover battle last year, and sometimes that doesn't carry over from one season to the next. In fact, sometimes, as you guys know, it will regress to the mean. But a lot of that, too, the plus 18 in turnovers is due to the play of Fafita. So he's back, more experience, a guy who, will certainly be one of the best not only in the Big 12 but in the country entering the 2026 season.
Over 3,200 yards, 29 TDs, only 6 interceptions for Fafita last year. Speaking of quarterbacks, and wonder if former LSU defensive coordinator Dave Aranda caught a break when the athletic director kind of got in a little off the field trouble and was forced to step down. So after a 5-7 year, 3-6 in conference, some thought that maybe he would be on the hot seat, but they had enough transitions going on in the athletic department. And who does he bring in? DJ Lagway. So they lost a lot of players. Also, what's the chances of Lagway and Aranda can turn this thing around this year?
Dave Aranda, I think you guys, having worked with him at LSU, will attest to this. He's one of the absolute great guys in all of college football, but I'm afraid it is a uphill climb for Coach Aranda and the Bears. As you mentioned, they lost a lot of defensive players in the portal. lost their top running back, Bryson Washington, in the portal. They just don't have, seems like Lagway's the one, kind of marquee player that they have there in the fold. They did get a big-time linebacker from Florida International coming up from the Sun Belt level, who was a, player of the year there, first-team Conference USA linebacker last year, Travion Barnes. But I just don't think they have, it comes down to roster. We can talk about coaching and this, that, and the other, but it comes down to players, and I just don't think Baylor has enough of those kind of guys, to break even in this league. So I'll be surprised. I hope I'm wrong, but I'd be surprised if Coach Aranda is still Baylor's coach this time next year.
That was the real question when he left here, the coaching acumen and the organizational skills, but could he recruit? And maybe that's budget more than anything, I don't know, but that was the real question when he left here, was he going to be able to bring in the top-flight talent?
Speaking of a coach who was red hot, that great run and the great game that they played, Texas had Texas on the ropes in that New Year's Day playoff game, but Dillingham still in Tempe. What's he got after sort of a bounce year last year after that great run the year before?
Well, I think they were probably net losers in the transfer portal. I mean, obviously Sam Levitt, you guys know him, and we'll get to know him better in the coming months, but he transferred to LSU, and they've got Cutter Boley coming in at quarterback. He'll be their starter coming over from Kentucky. They lost their top running back, Rayleigh Brown, to the University of Texas. Tyson Brown is now their starting tailback, but they seem to have some losses. I don't think they're quite as strong as well, but I mean they have a high standard. They've won 19 games the last 2 years. We'll find out a lot about them, and they have a tough daily double in week 2 and week 3. They play at Texas A&M on September 12th, and then the following Saturday play Kansas at Wembley Stadium in London. After that, they get an off week and then play 9 straight Saturdays to finish the season. Like Arizona State's got a really tough schedule dynamic there. Kenny Dillingham certainly talked about it. He says he recognized it, but he said it's about experiences. He said, I don't want to look back 20 years from now and say these guys could have gone to London, England, and seen that part of the country and had those types of experiences. But I said no to it because I was worried about, maybe winning. He didn't say it that way, winning another football game. But, he said it was important for his players and his program to get a full life experience playing for the Sun Devils.
I'm looking at the win totals for the Big 12. Give me your favorite over and under for the Big 12 before we let you go, Paul.
Yeah, I'll tell you, on the over, I'll look at it real quick. I almost exclusively play unders, Jimmy. I'll tell you one under before I look at the other. But Iowa State, you can find them. There is some 4.5 out there, but there's a lot of 5.5 juice to the under. The best price that I'm seeing, 5.5 under, juice to 136.
Yeah.
I just don't think they're going to get there. I mean, this is a team that obviously lost Matt Campbell to Penn State. He took 24 Iowa State players with him to Penn State, not just any 24 players, but his best and brightest, included his quarterback, Rocco Beck, his top running back, Carson Hansen, linebackers Cooper Evel, Caleb Bacon, their safety Marcus Neal, goes on. And I just don't think they have the players. They had 55 players exit through the portal, 48 come in. They don't return a single running back who gained 100 yards last year. They don't return a receiver who had 8 catches last year. Both lines are extremely green. Only one of their top 21 tacklers are back. Their portal class ranked 16th out of 16 teams in the Big 12 by 24/7 Sports. I think it's a lean year there in Ames, so I like Iowa State under 5.5 wins at -136.
It is at our local shop here at the Queen and Bally's where we do shows. That's available under 5.5 -136 at the DraftKings outlets. Paul, we appreciate. Man, looking forward to me and Matt when we go to Circa at the end of August for their Radio Row. So we were looking forward to having you there, and I guess congratulations as the reigning champion of the Matt Humans college basketball contest, huh? I mean, that comes with a lot of prestige, huh?
Well, anybody can win it twice, so we'll see if I can win it 3 times. As far as that Radio Row, do I have to wear a tux to Radio Row, or is a suit okay?
It's black tie. Yes.
Tails are optional.
Still, I'm looking forward to seeing you guys.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Paul. Good luck to you. We'll see you soon.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Okay.
24 guys from Iowa State to Penn State. Got considerably less publicity than the handful that went from Ole Miss to LSU. We'll be back to wrap things up here live at the original Walk-Ons, live at lunch, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
With Ott and Hanny from the original Walk-Ons on Burbank on 104.5 ESPN, Baton Rouge.
4 golfers atop the field at the Scottish Open. All are in the clubhouse at 5 under. That includes Rory McIlroy and Patrick Cantlay. Brooks Koepka among a large group at 4 under par. Also, Kurt Kitayama, who was on Wes Reynolds' card yesterday. Wyndham Clark, who was our consensus pick, one of our consensus picks, 3 under 67 today and 2 shots out of the lead. Just about finished there. I got a few golfers left on the course that are wrapping up, and then day one will be in the books at the Scottish Open. Major League Baseball this afternoon. Braves had a 5-2 lead on the Pirates. Royals and the Mets are tied at 1, as are the Yankees and the Rays. Cubs and O's just underway. They're starting in Minnesota. Guardians and the Twins, and Red Sox and White Sox coming up here in just a few minutes. We're celebrating the World Cup here at Walk-Ons. All the flags decorated here. Come by and watch the match here. But we're not that far away from football, Jimmy. And like I said, right before the show, we're having the conversations about the opening of football season, which is now under a couple of months away, under 60 days away.
Yeah, man, and this is obviously the place. It's the main meeting place pre-post and in the game itself. So, I mean, within walking distance of Tiger Stadium. And so the Clemson game going to be a hot ticket, man. When you start off with a decent opponent. Now, they might not be ranked. In some of the preseason guys, they are unranked. So they're kind of that the Clemson fan base not exactly coming in breeding confidence into the season opener. So,
it's not likely these teams are going to play a home and home again anytime soon. So, if you're a Clemson fan, you want to see your team play here. There are places that we've gone where we wanted to see LSU play. They're not likely to go back to Lambeau in our lifetime. I don't know if another trip to the Rose Bowl is, to play UCLA in our lifetime.
You don't think another Lambeau trip? Maybe play Notre Dame? Play Notre Dame in New Orleans.
When we went on that trip, we were led to believe.
Notre Dame doesn't want to play anybody anymore.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was led to believe. I don't know if you felt this way, that they were going to make that an annual thing, or at least every other year, where they're going to play a big-time college football game at Lambeau. So far, since that game, I think they played 1, maybe 2. So they haven't
played. Alabama played them on campus in Madison, right?
Yeah. So
have they played another game in Lambeau?
They played one other game in Lambeau, and it was.
I think it was Notre Dame.
It might have been
Notre Dame.
Yeah. But they haven't. I thought they would do that every year. They were talking about increasing revenues, remember? And it hasn't been. I don't know.
It's a great venue, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Thanks to Walk-Ons for being our host today. Tomorrow we will be at our Friday home at Ruffino's on Highland Road. Hope you can make it in your plans to be there. For Max Jordan back in the studio, for Jimmy out, I'm Charles Hanniger saying thank you and good afternoon. Stay tuned for Hunt Palmer. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.